There are only a few weeks left in the year, of course, which means business owners need to start thinking about taxes. John Hazelhurst with the Colorado Springs Business Journal is here with some advice before we say goodbye to 2009. Good morning.
Good morning,
Time
Kimberly.
is tick, 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 tick. So really, they need to take action quickly if they want to take advantage of some tax breaks.
Well, there are lots of one-time only tax breaks that were incorporated in the ARRA, the American Recovery Act, which we commonly call the stimulus, and a lot of them have to do with accelerated depreciation, being able to expense asset purchases, and so forth and so on. So I guess my advice to any small businessman out there, if you haven't consulted your tax professional, do so now, because a lot of these provisions expire on January 1st unless Congress decides to renew them, and they seem to be busy these days.
Yes, they are.
And so I think it's really important. I mean, it could save a small business owner tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. Now, there's lots of tax incentives. So can you give me a few examples?
Well, an example is that you can expense up to $250,000 of qualifying asset purchases as defined by the IRS code until January 1st. After that, you can only expense $139,000. So if you've bought a lot of stuff to use in your business, you may find that these are qualifying assets, so you better make sure that you include them in this year's tax return. Then there are various kinds of accelerated depreciation for leasehold and for purchased improvements. For example, leasehold improvements you can now expense or depreciate over a 13 or 14-year period. For this year, next year it'll be 39 again. So that means a big chunk on your tax return.
Yeah, and really, I mean, it's important to seek professional help with doing this because there are so many changes that happen year to year, and trying to do it on yourself, you could make, you might be missing out on some of those breaks that you might otherwise
Well,
get.
we actually write these things and we think we understand them,
Right.
but when I look at this after about 10 minutes, I think, what? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
That's why we have accountants in this world.
Right. And are there some that just specialize in small businesses versus, individuals?
Oh, of course there are. There is
So what do you need to look for?
Well, what you need to look for in a business accountant is somebody simply has experience with small business. That is their major practice. You need references. You call these clients or her clients and say, what do you think of this firm? And if you get a glowing reference, I think you're on the right road.
All right. Well, we've got lots of examples and tips in today's edition of the Colorado Springs Business Journal. Pick one up, and we thank you so much for being here.
Always a pleasure, Kimberly.
All right.
Thanks.